Welcome back to the semifinal. On the right side?
And as you can see from the light, this is very late.
Yes, indeed. On the right side, we have Samuel playing one of his favorite decks, I would say. You're
Yes.
pretty much in love with AMINATOU.
I think it's probably one of the coolest decks out there.
And you also have quite a few cool PIM cards, at least in my opinion.
I really love
lots of
the
experience with the deck. It's in a very good shape these days with the Overlords. Not so much now, I think, because of the release of Ketramos.
Yeah, this
is obviously
I won't continue playing the deck until I can kind of get a good feel for how much presence Ketramos is going to have in the format.
Yeah, and
until then, I won't be playing such a graveyard reliant deck.
If you can't defeat the other side, you have to join the enemy. That's why you're playing Ketramos right now. Maybe you've seen our video last week where I tried my chance with Azusa against you. If you haven't watched that matchup, it's quite a cool one, I would say.
Yeah.
Lots of interesting interactions. Definitely check that out. But here we are against a classic one. It's Radek on PHELIA. He defeated me in the quarterfinals. And now he's onto you. I think that it's quite an interesting matchup. I've talked to a couple
Definitely
of
an interesting
PHELIA
matchup.
players.
We saw quite a bit of graveyard hate in the deck against you, and I'm not sure how much I experienced in the matchup. I remember there being a couple of times where I think I might later on or now be misplaying with the currency converter and the psychic frog. I think we'll see what happens here. I'm not too sure that I remember, but yeah. So he flickers, I block, and then I discard a Ghost Vacuum because I'm not going to be exiling anything against him. The Ghost Vacuum is in matchups where like it can help, but that was an exchange that went really well for me, right? I get to daze the Restoration Angel and kill his commander.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's kind of one of the reasons that I kept the hand is if I find an island for days, if I find another land, then it goes much better than it was going now, missing a couple of land drops.
Didn't the static prison entered already, right? He should be at 4 energy instead?
No.
No?
At turn 2, he static prison.
You were on the play actually, right? Okay.
I was on the play,
Yeah,
because I had the highest seed.
Yeah. Okay. So Spellseeker into Unmarked Grave. Not the best card in my opinion in Winter. Much better in your deck, to be fair. You have Archon of Cruelty, you have Ashen Rider, you have Agent of Treachery, so many non-legendary targets.
Yeah.
You have the Overlords that you can go for. Mostly the white one, I would imagine.
Yeah, I have the Exile Permanent, Archon.
Yeah, Ashen Rider. That's what I meant.
Ashen Rider, not Archon. Yeah, Ashen Rider.
It is an Archon actually, as a creature type.
Yeah. So I go for Cruelty. Considering he hasn't played the Graveyard Hate yet, I was just like, okay, if he has it, he has it. If he doesn't, I'm constrained enough on mana that I shouldn't be worrying too much. This is earlier this was the situation where I discarded the Ghost Vacuum. I should have had it go into the currency converter. That was the misplay I made.
Okay. Yeah.
Because then I would have a 2/2 more on board.
Right.
And yeah.
This could block PHELIA. I mean, no, it could not. It could not. He would intentionally have to flicker it in order to not get blocked.
Yeah.
By the token, that's true. And so
Which would release my Psychic Frog from the prism.
right.
Um,
And so far you had no chance or no room to activate the converter anyways, so
yeah.
it's interesting, like the card on the left, you will see that on the screen. It's actually a command tower, and they always mistake it for an island. Because you have all these edged foil, this land cycle, you always play them. And I think it looks a bit like a snow-covered island, to be fair.
Yep.
There is this castle in the middle, but it's like from a distance, it looks like it's fading in the background, you know? It's not like a one big castle. So I always think it's a... We had this happen a couple of times when we played against each other and was like, okay, here's an island and this, so he's short of white or whatsoever. And I said, no, this is a commander. Yeah, cool.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of one of the reasons that I play it as well, because people haven't seen it much, and sometimes, it gets them.
Yeah.
Um,
Congrats, you got me. So we have an Exhume, and it
We do.
resolves. Ooh. That's crazy.
wasn't that unlikely for it to resolve? It wasn't the best Exhume, because he just gets to flicker his Blade Splicer again and make another token. Um,
But you get back the big boy.
But yeah, he sacks a creature, and I get to draw cards. And drawing cards, I think, was the thing I was most looking to in that situation.
Yeah.
Also because I think I have a Wrath Dam in hand, so I'm basically just trying to kind of stall the board.
And I think there's also a Dance of the Death in your hands. Is that right?
There's a Corpse Dance in my
Corpse
in my
Dance.
hand.
Okay. So a Journey to Nowhere. I love this card.
And that's kind of the worst case. Well, not the worst case, but a bad case for me, because then my Archon is not in the graveyard.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, so I'm just gonna full tank the damage and go for a dam next turn, I think.
So yesterday I was just thinking about that's actually the reason why the Flash is discarded with the Psychic Frog, right?
Yeah.
The Psycho-Frosch. And
Yeah,
now
so now this time I
yeah,
remembered.
Yeah, very good. The fact that PHELIA has so many exile effects is also quite an upside against Cat Ramos. Samuel Me played this matchup yesterday in our FNM final. Was quite intense, very grindy. In the end, you took it home.
Yeah.
But definitely an interesting one. So there's the dam. In this case, maybe if you find something, I think your deck plays one or two things to deal with the journey. Something like Prismatic Ending. Maybe sink into super and stuff.
There's a couple of things.
I
think it's mostly Prismatic Ending to deal with enchantments that I have in the list there. Yeah, I think so. And
because
then
creature comes back, you get more ETBs, and
yeah,
this
I have the ability to exile it with an Ashen Rider as well.
True, yeah.
I'll have a look if there's anything
Corpse
else.
Dance and the Grief. And he decides to take the Grief. Okay. Yeah. I can see that decision. But isn't it that now you have the option to reanimate your Spellseeker, right? And thereby you could get a Prismatic Ending, for example. If you play the card. I'm not sure if you do.
I do play Prismatic Ending.
Okay. That would be an option. As I said, it's unfortunate that Radek only has this one token for all the creatures that PHELIA produces. And PHELIA has like 20 plus tokens. You have golems, samurais, cats, rebels, whatsoever. And that's what you do. So there is the corpse stance on PHELIA. Probably finding a prismatic ending. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good line to go for. I would say.
I get to take the Wandering Emperor
Yeah.
and his last card in hand, and I think that's
Are we? I'm not quite sure. Are we in your turn? I thought we're
we're
we're in
we're
your
in my
turn.
turn.
Yeah. Okay. Was a bit
My
fast. Ah, you could have attacked. No.
No, I had already attacked.
Ah, okay.
I attacked with 2/2/2s
Yeah, and then he
with
discarded down to 0 cards, and
yeah.
that was worth the concession. To be fair, hard to get
My
out.
mulligan to 6.
Also because he was on 12 HP only. Excuse me. There is the shadowy backstreet, and here's the Archon in graveyard.
Yeah. I have the misstep in hand, and I decided not to counter the Inspector because, there's a couple of more impactful spells that I might want to counter with it.
Yeah, true.
Spells like the portable hold he has in
I
hand.
mean, Inspector is really just
Just a clue producer.
it's an okay 1-drop, yeah. I can see a future in which Wizards prints better 1-drops, and they will easily be substituted.
Yeah.
On the other hand, I like to play my Thraben Inspector with old bordered foiling.
Yeah,
But
there's a couple of cool prints of Saber Inspector. There's
yeah,
the
definitely. Yeah.
FNM promo as well with a very dramatic artwork.
I'm not even sure if I know that one. Let me check it up. Good old Scryfall. So the second Surveil land entering.
Yeah, so that would have been a very cool card if I had drawn the Archon
Oh yeah, that
to
would be.
flash the Archon in.
This is
But
one of the most frustrating combinations to play against.
yeah, and that's also one of the things that, like the downsides of having a flash and a show and tell in your deck, is that usually you're doing most of your work to put the reanimation targets in the graveyard, and then sometimes you end up drawing the cards that like you actually want to have them in hand for.
Yeah. So actually, I just saw that the Raven Inspector received another full art print with
Yeah,
the
the DCI
latest.
promo. With this
No, with the Innistrad Remastered set, which also looks quite
and
nice.
the DCI promo. They're both pretty cool.
Isn't it the Secret Layer or is it a DCI promo?
Oh, there's a DCI promo one.
Okay. The other ones are the basic artwork. Here we have a Failure for 4, and you have the Harvester of Misery. Great card, especially in this situation.
Yeah.
And also because it protects you from Shining Shoal. Not that your deck would destroy creatures based on dealing damage, but I just mentioned it because he has Shining Shoal in hand.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm gonna wait for him to play out his targets and then Harvester of Misery again. I think that was my plan there. We'll see how well that unfolds.
From a card design aspect, it's a bit pathetic that the Ranger is a 3/2. Like, because
Yeah, I mean
even
it's
back
an old
then,
card.
yeah, it is, but even back then you have to imagine you could shock the creature, and it's a 4-drop. Which, okay, maybe then again, 4 mana for that effect was not too crazy back then. Like, it was rather cheap.
Yeah.
So maybe Wizards thought, okay, gonna weaken the body a bit by giving it 2 toughness. And you always have to think about standard design. So this guy can be blocked by a 2/2 Werebear, for example.
Yeah.
On your side, we have a land drop and a Barrowglyph. That's a good one. And you have currently creature instant
in
land,
land.
right? And his,
Yeah.
his graveyard is
Reserve
empty.
island to the graveyard and
Yeah.
fetched twice.
He has so many cards. Giver of Runes, the All-Slot. There's a Guide of Souls. That.
So I mental misstep that one in case I don't manage to reanimate the guy, and then
Yeah.
his board state would have escalated a bit too much.
Yeah, definitely. I can see that. Because also with all the 1-drops he has in hand, there is enough mana this turn to go up to 3 energy.
Yeah.
And use the ability right away.
Yeah.
And then the Ranger is 5/4 with flying, and it becomes a serious threat.
So I go to 11, and I think I have a reanimation spell. Oh no, I don't.
Seems not.
Oh no, I have a.
There's another land in your hand. It's an Underground Sea, I guess.
I think I have a Corpse Dance again.
That's a bit.
Oh no, I don't.
No, you
Okay,
don't. That's
never
a
mind.
that would be crazy. I mean, wiping the entire board. He forgot about the Ascent trigger, or what was going on?
I think we might be. Yeah, I think he was. He did forget about the Ascent trigger, and we let it happen. I'm not quite sure if I remember. Okay,
You just had
that's good
land.
because I have on the
Yeah,
lands.
okay. Fair enough. So getting back the Harvester. Sometimes the graveyard order is not the best for spells like Shallow Grave and Corpse Dance.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's
Yeah,
crazy
I think
good.
this game was very frustrating because I had 3 surveil lands. My first one was like, "Oh, great, I already have a threat in graveyard." My
Mm.
second one was like, "Oh shit, because I didn't draw the threat, I have to bottom this flash now." And then my third one was finding a land. And every time I surveilled a card to the bottom, I found another land. So, yeah, I think that's how that game went.
A Dust Bowl. Yeah, okay.
A card that's very dangerous. Sometimes, like, I think in a couple of games that we had, yes, at least in one of the games we had yesterday, and in one of the games I played against Azusa yesterday, um, there were situations where it would have been devastating if I got Dust Bowled,
Yep. Yep.
and the opponent had a Dust Bowl, but you had better things to do with your mana and kind of went against it.
So
I've
here
drawn an
is
Exhume, and
here's the thing I have to say. I think it's not correct to not play Failure in response to your fetch, because it limits the amount of interaction you can bring up. Like it might take away your counter spells. Then again, some people might say, I mean, the Dark Six Show was open, so Mana Type is gone. Could be Force Spike, could be Wash Away.
yeah,
Because, like all the Fatal Push and whatsoever, they kill Failure anyways.
yeah,
And that's why you're not playing around those things. You rather play around the other things. And if you're not really, then again, with the currency converter on field, you also deny the converter activation, which could have been worth it.
yeah.
Mm,
Yeah,
like,
sometimes, there's a kind of, when you play on Magic Online, you can F6.
yeah.
And F6ing means you pass priority until it's your turn again. And in this case, it was, and sometimes when you play, you think, okay, I'm going to cast this thing on my opponent's end step.
Yeah.
Even though there might have been a better time to do it, if your brain just kind of goes, you just go like brain AFK and just think, okay, well, yeah, end of your turn, I'll do this, even though there would have been a better time to do it.
I like this timing for your Axiom. Grief is not the craziest target, but this way it's definitely better. Like, there's no creature in his graveyard. You cast the
Yeah.
Axiom, get a slight upside.
Yeah. And I just get to start like doing a little bit of pressure.
Yeah, and now that the Scavenger Grounds hits the field, might have been the right
Especially
timing.
when I have a card like Bowmaster in hand. There might be like when you have a Bowmaster, I think there's like a consideration for just if you have 5 power on board, sometimes you can just like overpower the opponent that way.
Yeah, true. Astrid, one of my
Astrid, super
favorite
strong card,
cards.
super cool
It's
card.
so cool. It's way more powerful than people would think. Explorer is useful. Food tokens are useful. It's just a cool card. It fits the
Yeah.
deck quite well.
Especially considering he has a clue from the Thraben Inspector still, which also
triggers
Astrid.
exactly. Yeah.
So that's I mean, in this case, drawing a card is much better than activating a food.
Yeah, true. So you have a dam?
I have a dam again, and I have a show and tell and a demon, I think.
Ooh.
It
So
looks
you
like a
know
show and
his
tell to me.
hand.
Also have a Teferi. Okay, interesting situation. I think the
Yeah, lots of
Teferi is
decisions.
not the right time.
Seems you missed
Maybe I
the
could.
land drop.
I have missed a couple of land drops.
Yeah. But now
I missed a land drop
in
turn 2,
this turn.
and in this case, I can't make a land drop either, I don't think.
That's definitely hard. I mean, Teferi could do some things. Is there
Yeah,
a
that might be
world?
my that's
Yeah,
my play here.
I think
Bounce
so
the
too.
token.
That's what I was just thinking about. If you do that, because that's an actual trade, you know, all the other like bouncing the inspector is not worth it. Bouncing Astrid gives him another food token.
Yeah.
So it's only the token to have like a real trade. And you have the token, the rebel. No, it's not. It's a rogue actually, right? The currency converter produces rogues. Still on your side. It's a wolf for whatever reason. Samuel again too lazy to ask me for fancy rogue tokens.
Not too lazy.
I mean,
I wanna play
I
my
started blaming the PHELIA
defensive
player that
side
he don't
for
have the appropriate tokens, so I have to blame you too. Sorry, mate.
I have appropriate tokens for everything else, just not that one.
Eh.
Everything else. Every other card.
I doubt it.
Yeah, well,
That's okay. So we have a Glimmer Lens attached to the Novice Inspector. That seems quite costly. It always feels quite bad, in my opinion, to pay the equip cost of Glimmer Lens.
yeah.
Just
And
to
to
draw
trade
a
the
card.
creature in as well, which
Yeah.
means you have to pay it again the turn afterwards.
Right.
Right.
So that's the
what have
time for the show
I
and tell.
drawn? Yeah.
I mean, you cannot put down the battle, but you can bring down a ranger, which is not the worst card in his position. Finding a guide, finding Ocelot, Mother. The deck is full of
Yeah.
1-drops. Yeah, it will be the cat.
So I think this was a difficult situation. Like sometimes a Runescar Demon is great when you have an Aminatou on board.
Mm-hmm.
And you can conduct like a 2 or 3 card plan to tutor up with the demon to like put stuff together. But when you are just demonic tutoring, sounds bad to say, but that's not that good in this deck sometimes because not all your cards synergize very well. And you know, there's a valid consideration to just get a land because I haven't been drawing lands, and I have lots of and I have cards in hand that are good if I cast them. So I might, I might end up getting just getting a land, and they're, I'll say, difficult decisions to make when you are not quite sure how the rest of the game is going to progress, and you just have to hope that the card that you're finding puts you in a good spot to keep playing.
I have to say you're quite accurate on the RuneScar theming, like the overall description of, like if you compare the card quality of a reanimation target, talking about the RuneScar demon, it pretty much only comes down to the interaction with AMINATOU to have a repetitive demonic tutor. Because I played, or when I started playing Winter, I also had this card featured in the 99. It's just not good enough. Even for the, in this deck, the demon, not the demon, the Brute Lord is a pretty good card too. Also, because you get to search for cards that you can sometimes directly play due to the Convoke effect. But it's really just about flickering the cards and having multiple triggers that search multiple cards. In a vacuum, this card is not good enough anymore. Like, there are so many crazy reanimation targets these days, especially because you're playing 3 colors. Of course, due to the flicker, AMINATOU is searching for, or specifically searching for ETB threats. And yet,
so
the
looking at
demon
my
is,
hand, I'm not sure if my opponent knows it, but I decided to go for a Harvester of Misery.
yeah,
Because getting to hardcast it puts me in a pretty good position against the Giver and Ocelot Pride, maybe doing something. So I did end up finding a land with my Surveil. I say go. I have the Bowmaster open, and I have the ability to cycle the Harvester.
Containment Priest, not the worst card against you.
Yep, Container Priest, another card that's
I would definitely keep that on top too.
pseudo sideboard against Reanimator. Oh no, not actually pseudo sideboard. It's pretty good sideboarding against Reanimator. It's not quite as good as effects that exile graveyards on ETB, because it's just in play and the opponent gets to set up their stuff.
It's definitely
First,
better if it comes as a surprise.
He equips the Glimmer Lens. I kill his 3/2 with my Bowmaster.
Okay.
Not sure if he remembered that I had the Bowmaster and forgot, or if he decided that the card was more important than the 3/2 body in play. I think with the Harvester of Misery, you are also kind of just waiting for me to
Cast the card.
to cast the card and not deploy anything until then. So maybe that is correct. But
it's also like you have
this is
so
a
much
6 damage
attacking
lethal
power.
block in response, so he has
Yeah.
to throw the Containment Priest under the bus if I don't have anything.
Yeah, right.
But I can still harvest to the Containment Priest before blocks, right? So
yeah, true.
Oh, but he gets to crack the food. Never mind. So he is still alive.
But it's not the best situation, to be fair. Yeah, you decide
let it
to
happen. Harvester it.
roast the priest. Another land. And here you see the value of Astrid. That's a great showing for what the card is capable of. And then we have an AMINATOU cast, the first one this game. And another search. Maybe going for...
I think I might have got Force of Will.
Yeah, I would do so too. I mean, just save yourself from some unwanted surprises. Cataclysm. Cataclysm wouldn't be the craziest, to be fair. Not in his spot. But there are more cards to be concerned of. Is it even? I think he has a Cataclysm in hand, right?
Oh, it's a portable hole?
Yeah, and an older card. Definitely an old frame. No, it's a mother. Actually, it's a mother.
Okay.
I guess he... No, he did not
Does he
search
play
that older range.
Cataclysm?
I'm not sure, but I think he does.
Okay.
It's one of the few tools against Azusa. And,
True.
you know, you have a couple of different types, so...
Not sure why my dam
There's
is
also the
lying over
combo
there.
trick,
Oh,
like
because the
you...
dam casts for 4 out of Excel.
Yeah. There's this combo trick there that you exile your second creature with PHELIA, and in the second main phase you can cast a Cataclysm, and at the end of turn it comes back.
Yeah.
You have some advantage gained. But then again, with 9 HP.
So this is a strong turnaround because he gets to phase out the demon.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure how this game ends, but I'm still in the stronger position. He's still on the kind of just surviving side.
Definitely, yeah.
Um,
Yeah, he gained some life due to the guide. And making another food token it was, I guess. That's a lot of life gain on his side, to be fair.
yeah. Especially flipping the Talon Gates to the cracking of the food is also pretty strong.
Yeah, definitely. Talon Gates is such an insane card.
I flicker the Bowmaster to make the token bigger and kill the Pride.
That's a good one. Only one card in his hand, I think.
There's 2. There's a portable hole as well.
And there are 2 cat tokens. Ah, you mean now he gets to phase out the
Yeah, now
the
that he gets
demon.
to phase out my demon.
I thought that already happened, but yeah. Yeah, that's a good line indeed.
But I'm still feeling pretty safe at 16, and I have quite a few cards in hand. Not quite sure what I tooted for, but there's still the Animate Dead.
Yeah, and also his main life gain sources are gone. The guide is not that scary anymore.
Yeah. I might Animate Dead the
grief. Yeah.
Okay, the grief, yeah.
And there goes the portable hole, probably. Yeah. And casting the dam for 4, but only destroying 1 card. And that's it. So, nice run on your side, I would say. Interesting games, definitely.
Yes, it's how do I say this? You know, Magic, you always somehow have to navigate to the win.
Yeah, true.
So I'm on to the final. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, I'm glad to see you in the
time.
final again against Atraxa. So, see you over there, and thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.